Hello children. So after the concept of catalysis and adsorption in the surface chemistry, let us begin today's session with the third concept, that is called as colloidal system or colloidal solution. So today's session will be purely on the third part of surface chemistry, that is called as colloids or colloidal solution. So what is meant by colloidal solution or colloids? So colloids are the heterogeneous solution where the particle size ranges between 1 to 1000 nanometer. So again I will repeat, colloids are the heterogeneous solution where the particle size ranges between 1 to 1000 nanometer. So if the particle size is in the solution, if the particle size is less than 1 nanometer, it will be called as a true solution. If the size exceed 1000 nanometer, then it is called as a suspension. So solutions are of three types: true solution, colloidal solution and suspension. So that you are going to study in another separate chapter. So today I will not take those differences. So today I will concentrate only on what is meant by colloids. So colloids are the heterogeneous solution where the particle size ranges between 1 to 1000 nanometer. Then colloids consist of two parts. Colloid consists of two parts. One we call it as DM and another we call it as DP. So DM is what? DM is nothing but dispersion medium. It is dispersion medium. So DM is nothing but dispersion medium. It is the medium of the solution where the phase particles are suspended. So what is meant by DP? DP is nothing but dispersed phase. It is nothing but dispersed phase. So I will explain you. Again I will tell you what is DM. DM is dispersion medium and DP is dispersed phase. Now let us illustrate with some example. Now suppose you are having air in the room. So when I rub the board, some dust particles are going to disperse in this air. So the air will be considered as a dispersion medium where the dust particles or the chalk particles, dust particles which are scattered in the air, that will be related with the dispersed phase. So colloidal system always have two parts. One part is dispersion medium and the another part is dispersed phase, which are scattered in the medium, not dissolved. It is only suspended or scattered in the medium. 3. Now let us see some difference between the true solution and colloidal solution. So I said colloids are different from true solution. Repeat. There is some difference between true solution and colloids. Colloids are different from a true solution. In true solution, you will see, if I mix sugar and water, you cannot see where the sugar particles are dispersed. It is purely dissolved in water. But whereas in colloidal solution, I said the particles are going to be suspended in the medium. So true solution differs from a colloidal solution, even from suspension. But here in the syllabus, we have only to deal with the difference between true solution and colloidal solution. So what are the difference? First we will deal with the size. The size of the particle in case of true solution is less than 1 nanometer, whereas the size of the particle in case of colloids is between 1 to 1000 nanometer. Then, the colloidal solution can pass through ordinary filter paper as well as selective membranes. All the particles, if I make sugar solution and take ordinary filter paper, or if I take selective membranes. So what are these selective membranes? Selective membranes are the membranes with different porosity. That is, the pores of the membrane filter will be very minute. So like bladder's membrane, parchment paper, cellophane paper, these all act as a selective membrane. So true solution can pass through ordinary filter paper as well as selective membranes. But whereas due to some particle size range, colloidal solution can pass through ordinary filter paper, but they cannot pass through selective membrane. So selective membrane is not going to pass the colloidal size particles. They will be trapped in selective membrane. Then, in case of true solution particles may be charged or may not be charged. True solution particles may or may not be charged. But whereas colloidal solution is always charged. The particles present in the colloidal system is always charged. So let us illustrate with some example again. Now if I take glucose water, glucose dissolved in water. Glucose is an organic compound. It is not going to dissociate. So in this case, the solution will not be charged because glucose is not going to form any ions in the solution. It is not going to be charged. But again I give some another example of true solution. If I take common salt, that is sodium chloride, and dissolve in water, you will see that sodium chloride is going to ionize into sodium ion and chloride ion. Then it can conduct charge. So, true solution may be charged, may not be charged. But the colloidal solutions are always charged. It may be positive or it may be negatively charged solution. Next, going to the next difference. Light can easily pass through true solution. If I take a transparent glass and keep a true solutions are usually transparent in nature. And if I pass a torch light from there, you will see the light can easily pass. But in the same transparent glass, if I keep some blood or milk, the light is not going to pass. So, through colloidal solution, light do not pass, it scatters. Light always scatters. So the property of scattering of light we are going to see in the property section. Then in true solution, the components are very difficult to separate out. In solution, we take solute and solvent. Solute and solvent cannot be separated out. But in case of a colloidal system, the components can easily be separated. So when we speak about colloidal system, the components are dP and dm. So dP can easily be separated from dm. Now let us see the next part of colloids. So I'll explain you some classification of colloids on different bases. So colloids are classified on 3 bases. So they can be classified between the affinity of dm and dp. So between the attraction force or attractive force, whether it has affinity or it do not have affinity between the dispersion medium and dispersed phase. Second type classification is based on physical state of dm and dp. So the dm or dp can exist in solid, liquid or gas physical state. So based on this solid, liquid and gaseous state of dp and dm, colloids are classified into 8 varieties: solid sol, gel, emulsion, foam, solid foam, aerosols and ferrosols. So the detail will be studied in the next part. Based on size and nature of the dispersed phase, colloids can classified into macromolecular colloidal system, then multimolecular colloidal system and aggregate or associated colloidal system. So based on nature and size of the dispersed phase, colloids can be classified into macromolecular colloidal system, multimolecular colloidal system and aggregate or associated colloidal system. So you can have the view of complete classification based on affinity between DP and DM, lyophobic and lyophilic. Based on physical state of DP and DM, solid sol, gel, emulsion, foam, solid foam, aerosol and ferrozole. Based on size and nature of the DP, it is classified as macromolecular, multimolecular and aggregate or associated colloids. So now we will see detail about the classification. So the first classification was based on affinity between DP and DM. So whether there is binding affinity between DP and DM. So let me first illustrate what is meant by affinity. Now if you are staying in some hostel, you are staying in a room with 4 or 5 friends. Sometimes all the friends may be highly attracted or affinited with each one of you. Maybe too much you have too much of high friendship between each of you. So you have a particular affinity towards hostel room because your friendship is very strong. Sometimes you may not have the affinity with other friends, but you are forced to stay in the hostel. So like that. So here DP is sometimes forced to stay or dispersed in the DM. So that type of colloidal system where the DP is forced to stay in the DM, forced to disperse in the DM, that type of colloidal system we call it as lyophobic. So let me illustrate the meaning of lyophilic and lyophobic. So philia means love, lyo means medium. So if the dispersed phase has love towards its dispersion medium, then that type of colloidal system we call it as lyophilic. And the other, phobia means fear. Phobia, the meaning of phobia means fear. So here the dispersed phase has fear of the medium. The dispersed phase has fear of the medium, but still it is dispersed in the medium. That type of colloidal system we call it as lyophobic. So let us illustrate some of the properties difference. So first, formation. It can be formed, lyophilic colloidal system can be formed by directly mixing DP in DM. So if I disperse the dispersed phase in the dispersion medium, it can get the system, and that system we call it as lyophilic system. So like example, if I give you some starch powder and lukewarm water, you can dissolve the starch powder directly in the water. You will see the colloidal system. That system we call it as lyophilic system. But for lyophobic system, we need specific method for preparation. So like blood, milk, they are the lyophobic. They do not have, the phase do not have affinity with the medium, but the phase is forced to stay in the medium. So specific methods are required for the preparation. Then, as the name itself defined, there is affinity between DP and DM in case of lyophilic. But there is no affinity between DP and DM. Therefore, we call it as lyophobic. Then, because there is affinity between DP and DM, the stability of the system is very high. They are highly stable system, colloidal system. But here there is no affinity between DP and DM. Therefore, they are highly unstable. We can separate out DP and DM very easily. Then, lyophilic is reversible. Suppose forcefully you are separating the dp from dm. Again I can dissolve it easily. Again I can disperse the phase into medium easily. Therefore it is reversible. Whereas lyophobic is irreversible. Once separated means it is separated out. Like in curdling of milk, if I add little amount of lactic acid in milk, it is going to convert into curd. But can I again convert the curd into milk? Obviously no. So that is irreversible system where the process do not reverse back. Then lyophilic sole coagulation is less. That is, when the stability is more, naturally it is going to coagulate less. So what is meant by coagulation? Coagulation is a process in which the colloidal particles are increased in size by adding some of the chemicals or reagent, and it is the size is increased. If it increases beyond 1000 nanometer, the particles are going to settle down. So, in case of lyophilic, the coagulation is less. In case of lyophobic, it is easily coagulated. Lastly, going to the last property based on affinity, that is lyophilic and lyophobic. Electrical property. In lyophilic, may or may not migrate towards electrode. So, under the influence of electrical current, there are two electrodes, cathode and anode. Cathode is the negative terminal, negative electrode, and anode is the positive electrode. So, lyophilic sole, the sole particles may be charged, may not be charged. So, they may or may not move towards the electrode. But in case of lyophobic, the particles are compulsorily charged, either positive charge or negative charge. Depending on the charge possessed by the particle, they migrate towards the respective electrode. If the colloidal particles are positive charge, they will move towards negative terminal, that is cathode. If the colloidal particles are negative charge, then it is going to move towards the positive terminal, that is anode. Based on physical state of dp and dm. So physical state, as I explained, it may be solid, liquid or gas, even dp and dm. Based on physical state of dp and dm, colloidal system is classified into 8 different varieties. So I have written here the physical state of dispersed phase, and these are the physical state of dispersion medium. These are the name of the colloids and few examples. So when solid is dispersed in solid, it is called as solid sole. Some examples are metal alloys and glass. Then when solid is dispersed in liquid, the phase is solid, solid is dispersed in liquid, that is called as sole. So example, metal soles like gold sole and tonics, health tonics, iron tonic and all. Iron is metal which is solid, and tonics, the medium is going to be liquid. In that the iron is dispersed in the form of ion, it is dispersed in the medium. Then when solid is dispersed in gas, it is called as aerosol. Example, smoke. So when we take the example of air with dust particle or carbon, excess of carbon particle, we call it as a smoke. So it is an example of a aerosol. When liquid is dispersed in solid, it is called as a gel, and all edibles come under gel. Butter, jam, jelly, and this all comes under gel. So liquid is dispersed in solid. Then when liquid is dispersed in liquid, both are liquid, then we call it as emulsion. It may be milk, oil in water or water in oil. When liquid is dispersed in gas, it is called as aerosol. And the examples are fog or mist, early morning fog or mist. When gas is dispersed in solid, gas particles are dispersed in solid, then we call it a solid foam. Some example is foam rubber or pumic stone, the stone we are using for scrubbing, those stone. Then when gas is dispersed in liquid, that is called as foam. So the examples are froth or fizzy drink. The best example is fizzy drink. The cool drinks what you drink, in that the medium is going to be like Maaza if you take, where the gases are dispersed in liquid. Last part of the classification of colloids. So the last classification is based on size and nature of dP. It is mainly concentrated on the size of the dP, that is dispersed phase. Based on this size and nature of the dP, colloidal systems are classified into three types. One is macromolecular, another is multimolecular, and the third is aggregate or associated type. So what is meant by macro? Macro means big size particles. So when the dP size is, that is dispersed particle size is more, that is towards 1000, not less than 1000, towards 1000, bigger range, then that type of colloidal system is called as macromolecular colloidal system. Here the size of the particles are big and have a high molar mass. Example is starch solution. Then going to multimolecular. Multi means many. So when the colloidal system, one system only consists of many sized particle from 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. Many sized particle may be present. So that type of colloidal system is called as multimolecular colloidal system. Example, sulfur sol. So in sulfur sol, sulfur can exist in 2 atomic diatomic also. It can exist in 6 atoms also. 6 atoms can togetherly form a particle. Sometimes 8 atoms together can form the particle. So in the same Sol system, sometimes sulfur 2 will be present, sulfur 6 may be present, sulfur 8 may be present. So that type of mixed type of particles are present, and we call it as multimolecular colloidal system. Then the third part of colloidal system is aggregate or associate colloidal system. So this is a special type of colloidal system in which when we are adding a small amount of dP in the medium, it is acting as a true solution. But when the amount of dP is increased in the dm, it is acting as colloidal system. So that type of, because the dP group together to increase its size. Now suppose I take one particle size only of 0.5 nanometer, then it will be a true solution particle. But if I multiply it by 4, then it will become 2 nanometer particle. If 4.5 nanometer particles are grouping together, if the size is increasing to 2 nanometer, then it is acting as colloidal particles. So example is soap micelle. So if I give you a bucket of water and ask you to drop only a pinch of soap powder or detergent powder into it and mix it well, you will see it is becoming a true solution. But when we are adding 2 spoon, 3 spoon of the soap or detergent powder into the bucket of water, you will see the turbidity is developed in the water. So it is converting into colloidal system.